They warned us that something was coming.
If there is ever an end in this forever war, it will be because of you and your strong right hand. I'm on your side!
Sorry, my bad.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
And this time we're covering the 2019 reboot movie of Hellboy, or at least what they called Hellboy.
This movie is a reboot of the movie franchise that adapts the final 3 stories of the original run. It is supposedly more accurate to the comics, which means it's supposed to be more serious and heavier in its action and violence, but once you start watching it, you're either laughing or groaning.
Yeah, or both.
Yeah.
And before we start with that, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification button on future podcasts and Pause videos.
Absolutely. So, again, this is based on the Dark Horse Comics character created by Mike Mignola, and it stars actually a good cast: David Harbour, Mila Jovovich, Ian McShane, Daniel Day Kim, Thomas Hayden Church. So the cast is great. Unfortunately, the movie isn't.
Yeah! Oh my gosh, where do you start with that? And you might want to ask, if you've seen the other 2 movies and you either loved or hate them. And you hear this like, oh, it's supposed to be more accurate. So what's wrong? Everything. Everything is wrong with this movie. Everything from the start of the movie to the middle of the movie to the end of the movie to the cliffhanger of the movie. They literally did everything wrong.
Yeah.
Everything was wrong with this movie. And why would you start over a franchise where you start at the end of the series?
And it's a successful one. It's kind of like with Monster High. The same thing. Why would you reboot something that the originals are really successful? Not only the live action, but the animated movies as well.
Right.
And it had a budget of $50 million. It made $55 million at the box office. So they gained back their money plus $5 million profit. But if you compare it to the original 2 movies, this was kind of like a failure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. It was. And one big reason is that this was not directed by Guillermo del Toro. And yeah, some people might have some gripes with the other 2 not being completely accurate, making it a little more safer for people to watch. It was still a well-received movie, both of them.
Right, this is directed by Neil Marsh.
Right. And the reason why is because apparently I found out that unfortunately Mike Mignola and Guillermo del Toro had a falling out, so they are no longer working together on Hellboy, period. Neither the live action nor the animated films, which is why both had stopped. And it was over on how the direction of the 3rd movie was going to go, because there were plans to do one after inspiration from Ron Perlman. And after they couldn't agree on what they wanted the script to be, that sort of just ended it right then and there. And they went their separate ways. Guillermo started making his own movies and doing different things. And Mike Mignola had a different director do this movie and supposedly be more accurate. And that is unfortunate, and we kind of see this happen a little more often now, where these duos are breaking off because they can't agree on what a story should be. But c'est la vie, that's just what's happened here. And you're seeing the price it's paying for not having them in this movie.
So this is kind of what happened, and it really got messy. This movie actually was supposed to be something different. So the project was began as a sequel to Hellboy 2.
Right.
And it was supposed to have screenwriter Andrew Cosby and Mignola writing the script. Guillermo del Toro, as you mentioned, was not offered the full writer-director role he performed in the previous films. And because of that, Ron Perlman refused to come back.
Right.
That's how we ended up with David Harbour. Love David Harbour. He's great in Stranger Things and other roles. This one, I'm sorry, belongs to Ron Perlman. And because of the different director, ended up getting an R rating.
Right.
And when you see it, you'll see that it's extremely bloody and violent versus the 2 live action movies that came out prior.
Right. And for some that, did not like the other two is because it wasn't violent enough, because the books could get a little graphic and you had to decide if you really wanted to keep going and deal with that, or could you not handle it anymore. And here they thought, okay, we're going to make it really violent, more blood and stuff, and give people who like the bloodlust more of that. Well, it backfired because it was so over the top, so badly animated, and so just gratuitous and unnecessary, like someone was just having a field day seeing this stuff on screen, like, and they think they need to go see a doctor, that the people who like the violence in the original comics didn't even like that.
Right.
And it was too much. It was so much, it was unnecessary. You could tell majority of the blood in there didn't need to be in there. Most of the scenes that had showed damage and harm didn't need to be in there.
No.
Even the people who like that stuff said this was too much. So how bad did it have to be where the ones who are comfortable with it didn't want it in there?
Absolutely. Another thing is the makeup was horrible.
Gosh!
It was hideous. It did not look right. It didn't look good. It wasn't done well.
It's like he's been hit too many times.
And before the makeup was done so well, it looked like this character really existed. And here, it looks like a mask. It looks like it's badly done. It just doesn't look good. And why they chose to go a different route, who knows? Third thing is, again, you can't blame the actors because they can only perform what they're given. And they did a good job with what they had.
Right.
But the story itself was terrible. And on top of that, they decided to change Papa, making Ian McShane be an absolute jerk. And it was like, these aren't even the same characters.
Yeah.
Why are you making people who were likable unlikable?
Yeah.
And why are you bringing in people that are necessary and that you don't even care for in the roles? One that really shocked me is Daniel Day Kim. I love Daniel Day Kim. I did not like him in this movie.
Yeah,
I did not like this character. And I'm like, how do you get me to not like Daniel Day Kim in a movie?
Yeah. And then he, along with, oh my gosh, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. You had him and Sasha Lane playing Alice, and Alice has been changed altogether. She was actually normal, and it was actually the baby Hellboy had rescued from Changeling many years ago. Now in here, before she didn't have any power, she just ended up, finding him again and thanking him for what he had done decades later. Now she's a medium with power. She can talk to the dead. She can have things come out of her mouth when they're speaking through her, and it looks disgusting. Now she's a bad A who can fight things, and she kicks behind. And then they got Daniel Kim playing a werewolf soldier who does exist in the comic, but nothing like him.
Right.
And they replaced them. They made them replace Liz and Abe with them. Like, these were the two he knew before Abe and Liz, and it makes no sense because you don't know who the heck they are.
Exactly. So, just all around, this movie was terrible. And this was a podcast done at the request on our community tab.
Yes.
And for those of you who love it, we're really sorry that we don't like it. You can let us know why you like it in the comments below and what you think we're missing in viewing it. But I can tell you, this is one of those rare times where our opinions are not going to change. Just didn't like this movie.
Right.
I'm having hope for a second reboot titled Hellboy the Crooked Man.
Yes.
That actually finished filming in May of this year.
Right. And that one's supposed to be adapting one story in particular.
One of the best stories of the omnibus that came out.
Right. And it's a well-loved one, so people are expecting this one to be more of what they're looking for to be the adaptation for Hellboy. Aside from a few characters being added to the cast, it seems like it's going to stay true to it. And we hope and pray that it does, because if they screw this up a third time, they will most likely give up trying to do this thing in live action.
Yeah.
And one more thing I think was one of the biggest things, besides them adding gratuitous swearing and F-bombs trying to sound cool and like they were bad. I could even say F-bomb and F-bomb and
remember, he was
F-bomb.
supposed to be a teen, so basically what they're saying is all teenagers are foul-mouthed, vulgar.
Pretty
and
much.
This is how they all behave.
Right.
Which makes no sense.
Not to mention that he was beginning to side with the monsters that were attacking him, calling him he's being tricked to slaughter his brothers and sisters and monsters, and someone said, oh, the ones that keep trying to kill you, that's what you want to defend, and it makes no sense. He suddenly wants to protect the things.
Which in the other works that were done, he's always sided with the humans. He's never empathized with them, has sympathy for them, or anything.
Yeah.
He always has told them so, to go to hell. Literally.
Right.
And now in this
He's
movie,
sided.
he's suddenly feeling like he's a stepchild.
Right.
And the way that Ian McShane's Papa is portrayed, I can kind of understand why this character would feel
Right,
that way.
because towards the end of the movie, sorry for this spoiler, Hellboy, until somebody changes his mind, Hellboy decides to end the world. He sides with the Red Queen and is convinced to take the sword and bring about the apocalypse and bring in more unnecessary bloodshed. And it was like, this completely ruins the character and what he stood for.
Absolutely.
And one thing I know you gotta mention quickly is the fact that they changed the music.
Oh my
For the
gosh.
movie.
I love the original Hellboy theme. I can hear it over and over. On my channel, I did 2 videos for Superhero Month featuring it. It was such an awesome, badass, unique theme. And now there's this generic crap that comes up with this movie. And I'm like, mute it, what? Mute it. I don't want to hear it. It's not the right theme. Mute it until it's done. I don't want to hear this crap. It was just, why would you do that? That's another thing that made it stand out. So basically, everything that made this comic and characters and the original 2 live-action movies and animated movies stand out, everything was removed from this production. I really, really hope, and I'm going to say pray, that the Crooked Man is not like this.
Please.
Because that will be so disappointing, because if you've read the omnibus and read this story, it is one of the 2 standouts in that particular omnibus. It is a fantastic story. It is great. It is compelling. It is engaging. It is fascinating. It is everything you want Hellboy to be. And if they ruin that, man, it's over for this franchise.
Yeah. Because we were hoping maybe we get some more animated movies. Even if Del Toro's not behind it, we get something more added to it after this becomes a success.
Right.
So we can only hope.
So if you've seen Hellboy 2019, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it?
I hated it.
Did you like it? We really want to know what you think. Our opinion isn't going to change, but we're happy to read what made you like it if you do. And if you haven't seen it, don't. It's 121 minutes of
misery.
Yes. We just
I
don't recommend this movie.
I can,
Sorry, all of you actors that are in it. Again,
I don't-
stellar cast, crappy movie, crappy script, crappy costumes,
Everything.
crappy theme music. It's just crap, boy.
And no joke, during the first half of this movie, I was beginning to get a headache watching how bad this movie was. So we had to stop and watch half one day and half the other day.
This is not a movie for you, so if you haven't seen it, skip it.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
And stay tuned for whenever the Crooked Man's released. We will give a podcast on that as well, and we're really hoping it's going to be positive, and it's going to really, again, highlight what made that story fantastic.
Right. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
I interrupt.
On the contrary, you've arrived just in time.